there are a bunch of people tied to Alex Jones involved with child abusers, leaders of kids, and all kinds of databases, federal evidences, rackets with databases, identity theft, fraud, slanders, pretending passions, emotions. You got delusions too, with campus people named O'Brien involved with campuses like in Newtown, Connecticut, Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Has a bunch of people involved with obscure nature principle involved with more federal evidences crimes with Sandy Hook names too. This is one from Weathersfield, involved also with Facebook, with the Facebook pages of the campuses, involved with some retired police chiefs, also with the same house slash S, involved with some sexual and medical offenders as foreign and domestic medical families, putting fake transcripts and databases with them. New Britain Superior Court has courts with a whole bunch of people tied to an Eric Mendez and his brother involved with New Britain Superior Court. Also, a Bob Chase said there's a Phil Collusion involved with that. New Britain Superior Court has a Phil Collusion too involved with predicate acts on my street from other areas. Further involved with some sexual and medical offenders of kids and people involved with threats that I don't know their names tied to him. We're going to have to get them on paper, name, and sequence. You guys are preventing counters to violence because you have the security families with the campuses involved with organized crimes there, and medical families there. There's a Leahy family that fake conversations and ties to me with others too, and their family members from behind my back so there's no means to counter it. When I was a kid, now as an adult, increasingly there's a Brian Silver with New Britain Superior, a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court involved with a Leahy family, also with probate court judges and prosecutors and their family members with the same houses near me involved with wire crimes, falsified police reports. And they went down there and spoke with the police when they were kids and were forced, tricked, hurt, and persuaded. Also, so many self-value, putting fake things in databases. They gave affidavits still, it's recorded. They were forced, tricked, hurt, and persuaded to fake things, fake ties, fake natures of ties to me. Like a Christopher Walters. Increasingly, people with the name Walters are involved with the Board of Education, further with sexual and medical offenders of kids, and ones with the intelligence community named Lombardo, too, at Harvard Hospital next to it, with the ones named Walters, Jensen, a bunch of state police, foreign and domestic families, and the interstate state police families involved with the Jensen family, and others with our DeMoro family and Isles Kitchen at DeMoro's Market, where it used to be and where it used to be next to Harvard Hospital, where it is now, involved with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and their educators putting fake things in databases at the same time, and with the news to prevent the right outcome. WFSB, Channel 3 News, has identity theft, fraud, slanders with them, and as their roles with next to Fox Connecticut News, with FBI Director Robert Luskin, his co-defendants and their family members, and people tied to them involved with child offenders, identity thefts, and frauds of people on Two Rod Highway where it runs into Hangdog Lane. Increasingly involved with the extended family members of prosecutors and judges and probation and positions with courts involved with the same house slash S near me, involved with wire crimes and falsified police reports and police making confessions over the phone because they already attached me to fake conversations that I wanted at all as a kid at the police station. And the kids who did go down there, they forced, tricked, persuaded them, put fake ties, fake natures of ties to me. And as their collusions timed with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, a whole bunch of different countries involved, and the rules with differences, racketeering, and the spots next to the old Weathersfield founding locations. Originally, when it was called Webb House, explained wrong, and the Webb Stevens Museum now renamed. They're still telling it wrong. Everyone doesn't even know about James Madison's plan, how and the founders behind him and his plan, who had to counter-extort George Washington. And he agreed to help them and to use that plan to counter-extort the rest of the founders, as the rest of the colonists and the rest of the Native Americans. Native Americans are partially coupled with our founders. There are proofs. That's why one of the proofs is president slash chief. Another proof is nature itself is showing us. Native Americans are our founders too. In other words, it wasn't George Washington, some retired general with means to counter those internationally entrenched conversations over criminal enterprises with their natures and cover-ups of that needed terrorists at the same time. When did that stop being used by the breaching method? When did our founders not communicate for us to leave out the breaching method when we ask ourselves, why is there a witch trials place next to Webb House? Now, why is it now named the Webb Stevens Museum? Why we didn't have it explained properly to us why they named it Webb House with no "the" before it, and why and how George Washington had the counter extort there, but where and how and why they had to leave slavery entrenched northern colonies, southern colonies, and couldn't complain about it, but to an extent. Otherwise, that body would have been censed, including if that body was a majority of people, including if it was everyone, because that was the breaching method entrenched. That was the roles that was the value of the nature of order defended. And this, we have natures of order definitions originally still a bunch of fake punks that were showed to pretend other. In other words, forgiveness, we don't leave out the breaching method, how it trained our interbranch at countries A through Z to speak. It's necessary because we have suburbs that were designed before America's founders were born, designed for torture, extortion, and slavery, northern colonies, southern colonies, as a tactically denatured identity grounds, identity relationship to itself. And nature's demonstrating that with negative value nature progressions, acts, natures, in demonstration of it. A tactically denatured identity relationship to itself. And our difference, we are a human species and a distinct individual species body of individual bodies. All group differences are demonstrated to us. They are generated by the distinct individual identity of value progression that is not our species bodies. It is not other species bodies. It is all bodies anyway. It's all things anyway. Anyway. So Alex Jones is just a loud talking head. They have people, they have a family. There are two principals named O'Connor. I never met them. There are people with the name Klotz involved with people with the name Kerr and DeMorrow that recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed them involved also with people on my street and streets parallel to it with the intelligence community involved with the news, planting predicate acts, sequence shifts, fake things in databases, and with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, all sides of criminal and civil cases, and the witness protection program. Their uses of that criminally foreign impulse tactical delusions raw too. Increasingly, these are people at Trinity College and Central Connecticut State University. That's in Hartford, Connecticut, and New Britain, Connecticut, who planted evidences in Wethersfield on my street, fake ties, fake natures of ties to me, roles with an untimely death at Trinity College, and with one associated, I don't know if it's the same one, associated with same people involved, though, with a Robert Rodriguez. These are also people involved with Puff Daddy and Usher and Snoop Dogg and what's his name? Fabulous. A bunch of people involved with judges and prosecutors with their family members too, next to Trinity College with the Cololo and a whole bunch of people tied to Cololo and his educators and Joe DeMorrow and his educators have rules with Trinity College in Central and Hartford, Connecticut with the names on Science Street, increasingly involved with foreign countries, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and police making confessions, bringing up their names and refusing to get on paper and putting arrays of falsified police reports with confessions, and they don't, but no writing, and confessions tied to writing, which leaves out other fake police reports. They're putting fake things in databases increasingly. New Britain Superior Court increasingly has collusions with people from all other different areas involved with the houses near me named Smith and Collo, and people involved with conversations with them since they were kids, and ones with the name DeMorrow. I mean, from that's other areas. But ones I used to live on the street named DeSimone and O'Brien. They have roles with multiple police departments, with all kinds of predicate acts with them, and roles with the names with the names Ray and Cololo. Oh no, Ray and O'Brien were brought up by people associated with Sandy Hook campuses. They're refusing to get on paper with the branch of the government. The British Superior Court has has some police named Mendez involved with some sexual and medical offenders of kids with Sandy Hook campuses, and with the sources of Alex Jones encounters to him, the state of Connecticut judicial branch offices and the corrections offices. They have roles also with co-defendants of former director of the FBI and the Robert Luskin and their family members and their neighbors, also involved with WFSB, intercities, and a whole bunch of people on tied to in the area of, I forgot the name of that street. I think in other words, in Newington, though, places and people associated with Ray Collusion involved with, I don't even know all their names, increasingly next to Fox Connecticut News. In the state capitol, they have rules with predicate acts with them, with Fox Connecticut News and with WFSB, fake conversations with me. They have rules with mixed natures of organized crimes, WFSB. They attach my families to change communications about their rules, ones that weren't in the World Trade Center attack context and ones that were in the court next to the World Trade Center right before the attack. And the night before, I was in my room. My parents were in their room in the hotel. Right when I walked out, a Claudius Gloria was out there. That was the night before the World Trade Center attack. Claudius Gloria's recorded confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with by Wethersfield police and other police forms associated with them, and their family members, involved with some sexual and medical offenders of kids, and people involved with home break-ins in my area years ago. I never saw Claudius Gloria or a Scalora in my area in my life. Wethersfield police and police forms intercities have been putting fake natures of ties to me behind my back, pretended with one's name Scalora. They have been pretending fake ties, fake natures of ties to me. One's name Kalal went tomorrow said that's their cousin. And they're also the Rob Rodriguez has roles with untimely deaths with them. So all their neighbors that are switching their names, and they're no longer, one of them's dead, I believe. In other words, and there are a lot of name switching with the interbranch involved with the judicial branch and the corrections offices and spots next to it. These were our roles with the elderly homes and the veterans homes too, and spots next to it through time. Prepare each mind. Please get Alex Jones to shut his mouth, or get them on paper, one name and sequence with Sandy Hook, who brought up this name O'Brien too, and the name Ray. Bob Chase with Whiting Forensics confessed the name Phil Collusion involved too. He's further involved with predicate acts on my street with more sexual and medical offenders of kids. Fake ties, fake natures of ties to me with his educators too. And these Mendez police involved with it. Sexual and medical with the judicial branch officers' roles with them personally and professionally involved. A bunch of people in the Bridge Spirit Court involved with some Mendez police putting me in fake conversations at the Wethersfield police station. Now as an adult with people who did it when I was a kid too. Increasingly, people tied to a Kevin Dillon have been planting evidences and identity thefts and frauds on all federal evidences crimes with names on all sides of my house. Their roles chilling people, with identity theft, fraud, slanders, WFSB, keep my mouth shut about their World Trade Center predicate acts roles with the Saudis before the World Trade Center attack by faking conversations with me about that after the World Trade Center attack. They also lied about legal cases where they have crimes with the FBI and his co-defendants and their family members involved at and next to WFSB, involved with them also with the sources of WTNH planting evidences at and next to campuses and all along Route 175 and its conjunctions to that. Like Randy Lane is increasingly involved with people with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and planting evidences with people intercities in the town lines. And that girl who was reportedly dragged to her death at the corner of Ridge Road and Jordan Lane, she's also increasingly involved with the people from Wethersfield next to Hartford Hospital, involved with fake conversations being into the Hartford Hospital's databases with the crackpots there, like this Leahy family and the Lombardo family, also planting evidence on my street with other people since I was a kid. Identity theft, fraud, slander. A whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital and hospitals involved with identity thefts and fraud, slanders, and with the campus and with the intelligence families next to the campuses. Somebody Bergerio who will tell you, look at him, he's a little creepy fake punk. Can't tell anything but a lie about himself and other people. Fake ties, fake natures ties to people. Where's this Subby Bergerio live? He should fear God now. Get him on paper with the courts too, please. In the child abuser campus, I want the response for what I caught them doing with the principal child abuser and why and how you've been hiding that from family members with other families involved with it, like ones with the name too. They have their kids in Wethersfield, like people with the name O'Neill, and they got their kid as a teacher in West Hartford leaking about her roles with Whiting Forensics and state police in sexual and medical offenders of kids and then pretending other. They have wire crime acts and methods with the FBI too, with Whiting Forensics and the state police in the same house /S, personally involved with their kids with sexual and medical offenders of kids with the kids of prosecutors and judges. You better get them on paper. Get this Alex Jones to shut his dirty mouth and get the Sandy Hook Promises lawyers on here too. Get them on paper. The Sandy Hook now. Get the fucking paper. Get that Board of Education on paper now. Get me off the fake conversation and ties to these members, please. Get them on paper now. Fake branches, bow. And there is seed. Fake branches, seed. The people, don't push them over now to fall. Get them on the paper. Build wall here, wall. Get them on paper.